This Egyptian rice pudding is so delicious, silky and creamy that it should not fall out of anyone's list of favorite foods. To make this delicious Egyptian rice pudding, use 2 liters of 3% whole milk, 275 grams of short grain rice, 1 cup of water, 250 grams of granulated sugar, 86 grams of dream whip, 24 grams of powdered milk, 20 grams of cornstarch, and 4 grams of vanilla powder. In a medium-sized stock pot, put the milk on medium heat until it comes to a boil and start frothing. During this time, you need to stir the milk slowly using a soft spatula to prevent the milk from sticking to the bottom of the pot and burn. Once the milk comes to a boil, lower the heat, add the rice and give the milk and the rice a quick and gentle mix. Short grain rice is delicate, and if you turn up the heat and mix too much, the rice will turn into a mush. Turn off the heat, cover the pot and leave the rice pudding to cool down for about an hour. During this time, the rice will absorb the milk as it slowly cooks. The starch from the rice will thicken the milk and will give the pudding a creamy texture. After an hour, uncover the pot and give the rice pudding a quick mix. Use a half cup of water, add the powdered milk, all the whipping cream, and the cornstarch and mix everything until they fully combine and make homogeneous, thick mix that doesn't have any lumps. And then add the remaining half cup of water and stir. Turn on the heat one more time to fully cook the rice and make the pudding. Put the heat to low and add the sugar, and with gentle mixing, the sugar will dissolve in a few seconds and the pudding will get thicker and thicker. Add the powdered milk, whipping cream, and cornstarch mix and stir very slowly on low heat. After a few minutes, the rice will be perfectly cooked and you will notice that the milk has become very creamy and silky. Finally, and just before you finish, add the vanilla powder, mix and turn off the heat. If you prefer to use vanilla pods, you can, but you'll have to add the vanilla seeds at the beginning when you started boiling the milk for the first time. While the vanilla seeds might have a more natural flavor, they will tint the pudding and make it less appealing. If the color doesn't matter to you, use a couple of vanilla pods instead of the vanilla powder. But if you want to do it like the Egyptians, just use the vanilla powder and your rice pudding will have perfect white color and flavor every time you make it. Use a ladle and scoop the rice pudding in your favorite ramekins and let it cool down for about an hour in the fridge. This quantity will serve 6 to 8 persons depending on how generous you are. If you're making this for kids, the portions will be smaller, and this recipe can easily make about 15 to 20 kids super happy. Once the rice pudding cools down, the options for serving it becomes unlimited and you can invent and give this dish a brand new flavor every time you eat it. Today, I'm going to show you a couple of ways to serve this amazing rice pudding to everyone's liking. First, use a small spoon and give the rice pudding a quick fold. Then add a couple of cinnamon sticks and sprinkle some brown sugar and some cinnamon powder on the side. Then complement the flavor of this fragrant cinnamon and vanilla with a couple of spoons of mixed berry jam. If you like raisins, soak a handful of raisins for an hour in water and mix with the rice pudding. Then sprinkle some brown sugar and some cinnamon powder on top, and you will have another variety of this super delicious Egyptian rice pudding. For the fruit lovers, you can always use any kind of fruit you like to top your Egyptian rice pudding. For me, I like to sprinkle some finely shredded coconut and then decorate the rice pudding with some fresh berries like strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, and some pomegranate seeds to make my rice pudding look and taste outstanding. Finally, sprinkle a little more of that shredded coconut on the fruits to give the dish a tempting frosty look. What I have shown you today was just a sample of the ideas you can make to serve your Egyptian rice pudding. But if you visit Egypt one day, you will realize that the Egyptians topped their famous rice pudding with ice cream, nuts, fruits, jam, honey, marmalade, caramel syrup, chocolate, and caramelized brown sugar. And you too can make this recipe and flavor it with your favorite toppings to make it your own style Egyptian rice pudding. Now it's time to dig in, and I'm gonna start with the raisin rice pudding. This is so perfect. The pudding is silky and very creamy. The vanilla tastes wonderful. And the raisins are sweet and chewy, which make this Egyptian rice pudding variety very interesting. Now let's try the combination of the rice pudding flavor with the jam, cinnamon, and the brown sugar. This one has the same creamy texture, but the notes from the added spice and jam and molasses flavor from the brown sugar makes this one super delicious but totally different from the first one. Sadly, the last Egyptian rice pudding I'm gonna taste today is the one with the fruits. But this is my absolute favorite, because every time I take a spoon from that one, I taste a different berry. And the taste of the rice pudding changes and gives me a whole new flavor experience every time. If you like this episode, try this amazing Egyptian rice pudding and tell me your opinion in the comments below or on Food Basics Reinvented Facebook and Instagram pages. Please subscribe so you don't miss any of my new videos. Thank you so much for watching. Bon appetit!